I hurt my finger. So today, I'm talking pedals. Hey everybody, it is Aaron at Warmoth, and yes, it is true, I hurt my finger. Exactly how doesn't matter, but rest assured, it's the stupidest and most non-glorious way that you can imagine. I sprained, it's not broken, I just sprained it really bad, but I can't even hold a guitar pick right now. So I thought it would be a good day to talk about pedals. I recently showed my pedal board briefly in another video, and I had a few people ask for me to explain it in more depth. So I figured I would just talk about my pedal board today, and this is it. In that other video, I mentioned that my pedal board appears that my goal was to spend more on the board itself than the total of all the pedals, and it's pretty close to that. I didn't quite make it, but it's pretty close. Let me turn it around here. The pedal board itself is a Friedman board, and I don't even know what the model number is, but it's a Friedman pedal board, and it's the one that comes with the Friedman power supply, and then on the side it has the Friedman buffer / patch bay. And if I remember right, it was about $500 for the pedal board, the power supply, and the patch bay. But this was really important to me to get this because like the overriding concern for me is I want it to be easy to set up at a gig. And this way I've got my power right on the board, and I've got the patch bay, which allows me to run one line for all the pedals that I'm running in front of the amp, and then another line for the effects loop. And it's very easy. I don't have like weird cords coming out of the side, because that's another thing when I'm gigging. I don't want cords sticking out the side because they get stepped on. If you've got a pedal with a cord stepping out the side, somebody steps on that and it wrenches the pedal. I've seen pedals broken that way. And so with this Friedman patch bay, the main part of the plug sits inside the board, so it's less likely to get stepped on, and everything comes out of the board all at the same place. So anyway, those are the reasons why I spent a bunch on the actual board. Now I'll talk about the pedals, and as you can see, nothing crazy exotic here. These are all pedals that I've found over the years to just meet my needs. I don't really, all my guitars, except for one, are all built from Warmoth parts. I do get bougie on my amps, and I'm a total Friedman fanboy. I have a small box and I have a little sister. Those are my two main amps. And then obviously I popped for the fancy Friedman pedal board. But when it comes to pedals, I just don't get that fancy. I don't feel like I need anything crazy. It's very utilitarian, very proletariat. So I'll just quickly go over them. It's not like you can't see them anyway, but I've got the Boss Reverb. I don't even know what it is, the RV6, yeah. This is my favorite tuner. I've tried the Boss tuner, I've tried Turbo tuner, I've tried others. I just like the Korg Pitch Black. For me, it's the easiest one to read. I have the Keeley compressor. This is the Crybaby 535Q Mini with the auto return. The auto return for me was a game changer. When you're gigging and you don't have to step on it to activate it and then step on it again to deactivate it, it just does it all by itself. It's just a game changer. And then of course the size makes it much more pedal board friendly. Then I've got the Crybaby Q Zone there for fixed wah sounds, which I use. I'm in a Scorpions tribute. I've been in a Scorpions tribute for a long time, and it helps with the kind of the Michael Schenker fixed wah sound. I use it on some Uli parts too. And then I've got the TC Electronics Sentry for a noise gate. Down there I have the Electro Harmonics Glove, which is just a super cheap distortion pedal. Of course I've got the Bad Monkey, like $40 is what they used to go for, and I've just held on to that thing forever. I even have a spare because I just love the Bad Monkey. Then I've got the TC Electronics flanger, which you can buy now for like 40 bucks. Fantastic flanger. Like, that would be a great flanger at any price. The fact that it's 40 bucks is just redonkulous. And then I've got the MXR phaser down there. And then I should have mentioned that this is where my line to the guitar starts. It starts here, goes all the way down through here, jumps over to here, goes all the way through here, and then jumps back to the noise gate, and then the noise gate goes back to the patch bay and off to the front of the amp. The effects loop comes into the amp, goes, I can't remember, I think it goes into the digital delay first, the Boss DD8 digital delay, then to the reverb, then to the TC Electronics Spark Mini, which is the best solo boost that I have found. It's kind of a trade-off, because I would like the Spark full size because it has a little more control over the tone, but I don't think the Spark full size has the momentary switch, and the Mini does have the momentary switch, which I love. So if I'm just going to play one, fill that I want to pop out, I can just step on the pedal and hold it down, play my fill, and then let go, and it turns back off automatically. Whereas with the Spark full size, I think you have to step on it, play the fill, step on it again. So I like to be able to just mash it, play the fill, and then let go. Or if you want to do like a whole solo, then you step on it normal and it stays on. And then when you're done soloing, you step on it and it turns off. And that's why I have the Spark Mini. So that is my pedal board. That is my gigging pedal board. Pretty much everything here is permanent. This position here I swap out sometimes if I want a fuzz pedal or some other distortion pedal. But this is pretty much the pedal board that I gig with. But there are a couple more pedals that I must show. These are pedals that don't live permanently on my pedal board, but that I use a ton. And the first one is this Rocktron Banshee, and of course I've got it stickered up and taped with my settings and all kinds of stuff, but this pedal has been a road horse. I've used this pedal on a bajillion gigs. I've played in a Bon Jovi tribute for many years, and I've played in a Scorpions tribute for, 12 years now. And I use a talk box in both of those extensively. Of course, in the Bon Jovi band, it's for Living on a Prayer. In the Scorpions band, it's for The Zoo. And I used to try and attach this to my pedal board, but it's so big, it's so heavy, that I took it off my board, and when I want to use it, I just bring it separately and hook it in with a little patch cable. And yeah, this thing has played so many different kinds of gigs, and it's still trekking. The hose is all green inside from I don't even want to know what. But yeah, gotta mention this one. And then the other one is this. This is my trusty Buddha boudoir with the purple bass and the chrome treadle. This is my favorite wah of all time. I really like this wah, but it is off my board because it's big and heavy, and it's got the the old school where you got to click it on to activate it and click it again to turn it off. And I've just found that the other wah is so much easier in a live situation, and the size makes it pedalboard friendly, that I've gone to that wah for live, and I save this one for recording or whatever. But I love the sound of this wah.
Anecdotal Recall.
On this week's Anecdotal Recall, I am going to recall the anecdote of the first time I ever heard a newfangled compact disc. And I was in high school. My teenage years were in the 80s. So my youth was spent listening to, in the very earliest days, I remember 8-track tapes and then cassettes. But all through that, of course, there were vinyl LPs, and most of my personal record collection as a teenager was purchased on vinyl LPs. All of those mediums had flaws, whether it was hiss or clicks and pops and skips or whatever. And it was I think I was in the 11th grade. And it was I was in shop class. I was in my shop class, and I don't even remember my teacher's name, but he was like just the stereotypical kind of stoner shop teacher. And there were several of us that were really into music and were in bands and stuff. And so he asked us, we were all in this class together. He said, "Hey guys, come here. You got to check this out." And he called us back into his office. This was after we had a shop the last period of the day, so everybody was off. The school was emptying out. And he said, "Check this out." And he had a copy of Iron Maiden Power Slave on this little tiny disc that just looked so brand newfangled and foreign. And he put it in his CD player, and he cranked it, just cranked it. My eyeballs were sweating because it was so loud. And he said, "Just listen to how clear it is. Listen to, there's no hum, there's no clicks and pops. And then the first song ended. And he said, "And listen to how quiet it is between songs." And all of us just looked at each other and went, "Whoa." Just like straight out of Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure. It blew my teenage mind, this new fidelity in audio. And of course, from that point on, all my future purchases were on compact disc. I think the first compact disc I ever bought was Joe Satriani's Surfing with the Alien. But anyway, that is my story of the first time I ever heard a compact disc. And I would love to hear your stories, either of the first time you heard a compact disc, or if you are younger or older, the first time that you heard music on a new medium that blew your mind, whether it was like an MP3, streaming MP3s for the first time or whatever. So share your stories in the comments below. And that is it. That is my pedal board. I'm sorry if it was a little underwhelming. That's just the way I roll. I just don't get into expensive pedals that much. Maybe that'll change. I am on the hunt for a really good silicone fuzz face style fuzz. I've been through a couple different ones. Fuzz is like the dark magic of the pedal world, I think. There's just so many kinds out there, and they're so different from each other. So if you have suggestions for a really good silicone fuzz face that's kind of on the brighter side of fuzz faces, and particularly one that sounds good going into an already dirty amp, because I rarely have a clean sound. A lot of fuzz faces sound best going into a clean amp. So if you have a recommendation for a brighter sounding fuzz face that sounds best going into an already dirty amp, put those suggestions in the comments below. And again, this didn't have much to do with anything related to Warmoth, but since my finger was already messed up and I couldn't play, I figured that this would be a good week to do it. If you do have questions about anything related to Warmoth, whether it's the replacement bodies that we sell, the replacement necks that we sell, all the hardware that we sell, all the merch that we sell, make sure and go to the Warmoth website. If you still have any questions, give our customer service reps a call. And until next time, keep on picking.